All right, testing, testing, one, two, three, testing, one, two, three. Let me check, make sure everything is cool on the audio. Let's see here. Sure, everything's cool. All right, we good. All right. So I was cut off the other day when I did part one, which I initially didn't want to do a part two or and didn't really need to do a part two, but I had to close out the other live stream because it was directly on YouTube and it just cut off. I don't know why. I don't know who's pulling the levers, whatever. But I was basically explaining that as far as mindset when it comes to the three M's, um, mindset, money management, and momentum. What's going on? Seeking my creator. Um, I was saying that you kind of have to be careful of like kind of who you are listening to and engaging with, and even of course, people say who you hang with. I mean, where's my videos? I don't even, I mean, I don't think next month I'll probably even have premium StreamYard because I just don't see the motivation to have that. But how they have how I actually am paying for this is a whole nother story. I guess I'll tie that in. I'll explain that.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's one of your top
It is.
three pieces.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You want to know why you're all fucked up? Just look at the fucking bums you hang around with.
Yeah, I mean that's the sentiments said from Dan Pena. To kind of be exact, right? As far as just blunt, Dan Pena is like me, but just in his own way. I mean, he's Army. Dan Pena went to the Army. Now I found that about him long time ago. He went to the Army. And my grandfather went to the Army. He was very blunt. He would cuss you out. He would cuss strangers out. He was like crazy. But um, the thing is yeah, like he said. I mean, if you if you gotta think about it, right? When I did another video, I think yeah, it was pretty much the video on money management. I don't know why I just chose to do money management first, as far as explaining it. But I guess the reason why I did it was because a lot of people, that's where they do mess up. Um, because they people make money and then they just don't know how to manage it. Like everything is about managing, you know, kind of like being a treasurer or an accountant. You're managing your money. Because see, here's the thing, right? And I'll go back to mindset. Why do you think so many athletes go broke? Why you think entertainers go broke? Why do you think like all these people that had all this money, Antoine Walker from the Boston Celtics, right? Went had $100 million contract, filing bankruptcy. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, Don Payne does not. Oh yeah, man. Dan Payne is the truth. Dan Payne will put a fire in your ass to where you probably won't even watch them anymore because you're gonna reach a step where you realize your head is in your ass and you got to pull it out. And it's not something that you could really watch. It's like if you know your head is in your ass, you got to work on getting your head out your ass. It's not, you're gonna realize, oh well, it's some things you got to do, and that's one of the things that I do. I try to facilitate you getting your head out your ass, but the thing is a lot of us, that's what we're working on, trying to, do better, self-improve. But yeah, um, the thing is like I said, the reason why I explained money management first was because a lot of people do have those problems. They make money. Even my quest of self improvement and better financial, a better financial life. I realized, damn, I made money even before I had children. I was like, man, I make money. Why am I so broke? And one of the reasons is, yeah, bad money management. Not having a budget. When during the time where I was, I realized like, damn, okay, I'm making money. What's the problem? Not I didn't have a budget. I was freestyling, meaning I would get paid and then I would just, do whatever I wanted to with the money. I knew I had bills, but I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to, a lot of people do that. A lot of people freestyle, um, a lot of people just be freestyling. Like they don't have no budget. They just be like, oh, I know what my budget is in my head. And people do a lot of stupid shit, basically. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. We all strive for perfection. Some do it better than others. Some people don't even strive for perfection though. How many people do not strive for perfection? Okay? Like out of 10 people in the room, how many people strive for perfection? Probably most people won't even, out of that 10 people, most people would not. Maybe not. Maybe one out of 10 people, or two, maybe three, actually strive for some type of perfection. But yeah, that's why I did money management, because the reason why all of these people like Antoine Walker and um shoot, who else? Even Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson used to Adrian Peterson, in case you don't know who he is, if you probably don't watch sports, you probably don't know who Adrian Peterson is. Adrian Peterson is like he was one of the best running backs in the NFC. He played for the Vikings for a long time. He used to absolutely obliterate the Bears, obliterate other teams. He ran like a dog. Like, he was a dog of a running back. He would just bust through tackles. He was really fast. He was strong, and he was a very, very highly skilled running back. And he made a lot of money. He had some kids, and one of the kids, he had to spank them or discipline them, and he actually, this is so fucked up. He actually got in trouble for disciplining his kids. He literally went to jail for disciplining his kids. And one of the things is that, um, it's just, it's some stupid shit. But when they got the lens on you, they got the lens on you. And at one particular time, he was like the Derrick Henry of the 2000s, right? Like whenever he played, I think he was, you could say, yeah, definitely like late 2000s, early 2010s. He was the Derrick Henry of that time. So he had a lot of the lens on him. But he made millions and millions and millions of dollars. And he's now broke after his career. He is broke, right? Busted. And it's because one of the things is money management. Of course, all of it correlates. Mindset, money management, what's the third one? Momentum. Well, the thing about when you're in the NFL, or you get a contract, NBA, baseball. The dude Juan Santos, he just got a 700 plus $1 million contract for 15 years to play for the Mets. Well, the wonderful thing about all of that is there goes your momentum right there. That's your last step. The third step, the all of the trio is done when you do shit like that because you got money, that's a lot of money right there. You got the momentum, you know, it's right there. You just need to have the right mindset and money management. It's kind of like you got to work in reverse because some rich, team organization is giving you millions and millions of dollars. They're giving you some momentum to work with, and then, obviously, I'm not going to say it's not important still. You just give up and just, jag it off. I mean, obviously, you want to do something, man. Start a cannabis business, start some type of company or something like that with the money so you could kind of use that money to make more money. But you already have the momentum right there. You're rich. You literally, as soon as you sign a contract, paperwork, got all the taxes, got all of the stuff you gotta pay. You gotta pay your agent if you got an agent. You gotta, do all of this housekeeping, right? And then a lot of times, what happens is, what do people do? Because a lot of athletes are not. I'm not gonna say they're dumb, but you gotta understand, a lot of people, a lot of athletes are coming from a lower class, a lower socioeconomic class. And one of the reasons why people are in a lower socioeconomic class usually is associated with not understanding financial education, not even financial education, not understanding finances, which the dry, boring conversations that I try to be entertaining, I try to, you know, um, be more profound. I'm not gonna lie, it's a popularity contest with, a lot of things, and I don't know. I don't really, I, I do that in my own right. Like I'm not the master of the popularity contest, I admit, but I'm pretty cool. I'm in the zone right now. I would say, as far as I've been, even talking about mindset, it's causing me to really be more aware, of things, right? So people, I see the infighting going on. People tired of that bullshit. The whole manosphere talk. I'm hearing this shit. The red pill space, all that crap. It's going through. It's You see this on YouTube every now and again. People go in and start. It's kind of funny, but people start cannibalizing themselves, and also, other people are kind of leaning in and throwing rocks and stuff like that. And what it is, yeah, people tired of this same repetitive feedback loop bullshit. I mean, to be honest, be perfectly honest, that's one of the reasons I'm not liked, because the money is the problem, and the problem is the money, like I've said before, and honestly, you know, another soundbite to hate the broke genius or whatever, or Abdul. Uh, you get money, right? You can literally get on a plane and go replace whatever women that you can't get or have a problem with, just like white people did in the 80s and the 90s with the mail order brides from Russia. Now some of them were KGB, ex KGB assassins, but that's a whole nother story for another day in a movie on fucking Netflix or some shit. But the thing is that's what they did. They went to white people did it, before usually everybody else, right? They had the money to do it. They had the ability to do it, and they did it. Yeah, they went to other countries. They got wives, right? They, pretty much got Eastern Europeans, because it's a lot of them, and they're what? European. So that's what they did. They was doing that, while I was in high school and shit, grammar school. They was going over getting mail order brides. They called them mail order brides because it was no internet then. It was no dating apps. It wasn't no social media. So how would you get a hold of a Russian bride or talk to someone? You had to use a good old fashioned postal service, pen pal, phone calls and stuff like that. But yeah, like money, you know what I'm saying, pretty much in a passport, boom. You know what I'm saying? It's like I see the shit because I literally, I mean, I mean, like, I'm, I'm, I'm not a scary dude. Okay, you can't really. I mean, I guess you could, but it's gonna really mess you up. Like, if you join the military on some scary shit, like you real scared, like you kind of have to deal with that, because of the nature of what you're doing, depending on what you're doing, had to do. I mean, I remember in boot camp, they used to ask us, do you want to try out for buds or prepare or basically prepare for buds, to go be a Navy SEAL, you know, um, because you have to do a lot more training other than the standard training you get from boot camp to prepare for buds because buds seal basically um tryouts basically is very very extensive and extreme, right? So I say all of that to say, basically I wasn't scared to get on a plane and do a solo trip, to the DR, which has more poor people in an extreme level of poverty than the United States. And I was by myself, walking around, basically a compound, walking around, just basically walking out with just, the descendants of pirates, by myself, because basically, I mean, that's just how I am. I'm how can I say it? I'm not, I'm not scared like that. I'm not a scary dude. To be honest with you, I've already accepted the reality of death. I've already embraced um the fact that I could die, and I made peace with it. And it's kind of like I've already made peace with the Grim Reaper. And having that peace or having that understanding of not being afraid of every fucking little thing, and even like just to make, just to kind of deal with that, because a lot of people are so fearful. When you embrace that type of that reality, you can kind of live, and you don't, not saying you do crazy shit, but you not like fearful to live life, because to a certain extent you could be fearful to live life by being scary, really really scary. And a lot of people, obviously are afraid of death. That's probably the most thing that people do fear, and that does correlate to mindset. you know I've said this before. I haven't said it a lot, but one of the reasons why people do not want money or to be rich is the fact that you're going to be a target if you have a whole bunch of money, and you shining and showing. You got you a I'm in Gary, Indiana, man, and I see people occasionally. I see a Lambo. I've seen a Lambo at a gas station in Gary, Indiana. I've drove down the street and saw a Bentley. It was probably an old Bentley, because you can get a Bentley for like, you can get a Bentley for less than 50,000, an older Bentley. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like, if you're showcasing, I have on this photo, I got a chain that basically was like $1,500. It's people that got thicker chains, bigger chains. Uh, I saw yesterday. Jalen Hurts on in his post conference with after they beat the Steelers. Dude had on some bling, some diamond encrusted pin, like his whole chain was like diamond encrusted. Like it was like the chain was doing the interview because it was shining so much. Like, I mean, when you get, people know if you got riches that you are a target. People, can come after you and stuff like that. They could potentially, come after you. And to be honest, I mean, that's another, conversation for another day. If America continues to go the route that it goes, it's gonna possibly be a situation where, like Mexico has, or I don't know if they still have it, but at one particular time, Mexico had a problem with kidnapping because basically because people were so poor, and the wealthy elites were so few, they just start kidnapping children, and it's like if you're in a situation where you got money, some people, the reason why they don't want money or don't pursue money because they don't want to die, you know they don't want somebody robbing them or carjacking them or whatever the case may be. They have a fear of them having a bunch of money and somebody coming to target them. But I'm going to talk about that more when in momentum. But yeah, that actual mind virus or fear, not so much a mind virus, but it's a fear of, yeah, people kill people every day over money, in small amounts of money. You know, you the money that we're talking here is not $1,500 or a couple grand or whatever, which people will shoot you and kill you over. We're talking 100 times that amount, 1,000 times that amount, as far as what we're talking here, and yeah, people are looking for people that got money to rob them, right, on a day-to-day basis, um and that makes people averse to money, averse to gaining wealth because people just generally don't want to get any situation where they could possibly lose their life or be targeted, right? And it's things that people do, like kind of dress down, blend in with the public, and just kind of don't showcase, and I think to a certain extent that's safe to do because honestly that's what my grandfather did. I mean, other than a Cadillac, my grandfather didn't really showcase. He wore suits and stuff a lot, pretty much every day he wore a suit, and he just had a Cadillac. Like that wasn't he didn't, I mean, you know, he wasn't like, he didn't have like no bling on. He didn't have like no diamond encrusted ring on and a Rolex watch, gold plated Rolex watch. That is, I mean, he could afford that, but he didn't have that. He just, the most thing he had was the Cadillac, and that blended in because, even in the hood, it's a bunch of old dudes with Cadillacs, you know. It's not like something that just is outrageous. Like, if he had maybe a Jaguar or a Mercedes Benz, that might have kind of been a little bit more okay, exotic. That might have stood out more. But he wasn't dumb. He knew he had to blend in his particular, the area he lived in. I mean, South Side is a mixed bag. You got some people with money, and a lot of people that don't have money, and so it's a situation where if you gonna live on the south side of Chicago, you might want to blend in, and a lot of people do have a problem with that, and they still want to live on the south side of Chicago, which boggles my mind. But you got some people that don't really care. They're not about to lower their life style because other people willing to take from them or whatever, especially now, because that's the whole thing with Chicago. The federal government had to come in. The judges had to say, no, these people have a right to the Second Amendment and to arm themselves. You can't say these people can't have no gun. You can't make these state and city ordinances say people can't have no gun because you want these people to basically uh, self-eliminate themselves by not having a gun, and then the criminals, they have guns because that's what a criminal is. The old term for a criminal is an outlaw, a person that throws out the laws, do whatever the fuck they want to do, or whatever they can get away with or try to get away with. So you telling me, okay, you can't have a gun and all? Fuck you. The Second Amendment. You have to update all of these laws, and even the fucking governor tried to recently in Illinois tried to put a ban on assault weapons. They said no, no, because what if the criminals or outlaws have assault rifles? You're gonna have to shoot them, and that put law enforcement in jeopardy as well. You got people that got a bunch of long guns with automatic long guns, and you don't have the firepower to match back with them. And unfortunately, I had to tell my boomer uncle about this, and I don't even be saying boomer like that, but yeah, he was on some boomer shit because he was talking about they should ban uh uh he had a problem with my niece having an AR-15. And I'm like, shit, if she wanted to have an AR-15, she could. And I was like, might I remind you, well, what if the outlaws have fucking assault weapons or AK-47s or whatever, and you got your little pop gun, your little cap gun. That's not gonna stop that. You need force. You need the same force to handle the force that's coming at you. And then I told him, because I have a lot of experience, because I done worked so many jobs, I met so many people, and I dialogue with so many people. This guy I used to work with, he was Ukrainian, and he told me, he said one of the things that kept the Russians at bay, as far as their planning, was you have a lot of citizens that have weapons. So even if you get past the whole government, let's say that happens, you still have a well armed or even over armed citizenry to deal with. Especially white dudes in Texas and shit like that. With this one dude, you watched the Abandoned Ranch. This dude had freaking he had like I you know I remember when they caught Manuel Noriega. I saw the video because I used to always watch the news with my mother, and I saw pictures or videos of, like, he had a house full of money and guns. Like, I mean, it was filled. It was like like Scrooge McDuck when he had his vault full of gold coins and bullions and stuff. It's like that, but guns, right? And the dude with the abandoned mansion, he had like a big ass vault, and it was filled with guns. I'm like, first of all, how the hell? Like, it was a lot of thoughts, man. And still to this day, I'm like, I was just mind boggled. But anyway, it's like, yeah, man. You the problem with the whole gun thing is you got outlaws that have guns, right? Outlaws, criminals, whatever you want to call them. And what I was saying about people in Chicago, it's quite a few people in Chicago. They say, well, nah, I'm gonna have me Demon Hellcat scat back in the hood. And then I'm coming out, and I'm carrying my Glock. Somebody come up to me, I'm blasting them. And that's it's people that have that. That's what they do. Like they're they already said in their head, they're not going to diminish their lifestyle because they live around a bunch of people that might rob them. And that's their plight. I get it. I mean, I understand to a certain extent, and they have the right to do that. I mean, you know, I don't, in my poorest moments in life, you know, most of the time, my concept was whatever you made, whatever you did, congratulations. Even, and I'm not necessarily, gonna ask anything from you or anything like that. It was just congratulations. You made it. You made this money. You know, you probably did something that was very, very difficult and challenging. You made this money, however easy or hard it was to make that money, you made that money. Congratulations. And it's like, some people, man, they, you make some money, they plotting on you. They, what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's a lot of people that they just want to take, because a lot of these people, to be honest, they don't want to take the time out to listen to guys that have financial advice. They don't want to read no books. They don't want to do no research. They don't want to practice no 3Ms. They don't want to do anything, but they like, okay, I'll just, be on some pirate shit, some outlaw stuff. I'll take from you. And, one of the things I do like about Twitter, is I can, you can repost stuff, you can see stuff, you can see the world just how it is. Facebook tries to shield stuff and all of this, putting sensitive, you could put a video like the video of the dude, the CEO got killed, but it's got a blurred image or whatever, and it's like you gotta click on, do you really want to see this video? And it's like on Twitter, you could just see the whole fucking video. Ain't no blurring or nothing. It's like all kind of graphic shit on Twitter. And that's the world that we live in, unfortunately. It's extremely graphic, and then it's, um, cat videos and shit, kitten videos and puppy videos. But the thing is this. Um, I reposted on my Twitter because some dudes they had robbed some people or attempted to rob some people, and the police shot them dead. And I said, this is the dark side of not managing your finances. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. That was what I thought at the time to say, and that's what I thought, because it's like people don't talk about. People talk about, it's like even me, I talk about like, okay, yeah, you're gonna get evicted, you could be homeless, blah blah blah. Everybody knows the downside of not having no money, what could possibly happen. You know, and usually people just go, they kind of go down to like the ground level of, yeah, you're gonna be, homeless and all that. Nah, how about it gets darker than that? You might rob somebody. You might get killed. Somebody might pull out a gun and blow you away for you trying to rob them. And then because you ain't want to deal with, the reality of taking the time out and really looking at this and really listening to, you might be a cool dude that, smokes Newports, and you look at, nerdy guys or guys that, talk like corporate white dudes, like they're squares or they're, lames or whatever, you might want to listen to the motherfuckers and then learn some shit. So you don't have to, go rob somebody and then they pull up on you and then blow you away. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is that Illinois, they wanted that to continue on because they just want people to kill each other because the politicians have guns. They can carry guns and then they have bodyguards. So they, once I realized, okay, what was going on, I'm like, oh yeah, these people just they don't really care about you, trying to defend yourself because the outlaws already gonna have guns. They don't care about your laws. So, the citizen is the one that's trying to be, the whole quote unquote law abiding citizen, right? So yeah, I mean, I went into a tangent, but yeah, one of the reasons why people are averse to getting rich or wealthy is that they're fearful of the consequences of that, the cause and effects of that. Because yeah, you could go to a bank and the teller see you got $1.5 million in your bank, and her boyfriend is a fucking pookie, bandit, basically outlaw, and she knows your address, and then she can send the squad there, you know. Um, and yeah, you don't know none the wiser. You just a regular everyday dude that has $1.5 million in the bank, and you only make like 100 grand a year, but you already got 1.5, and you still got the 100 grand. You don't even touch the 1.5. You just live off your 100 grand, and you don't even live off that because you got excess, because you don't over budget, you don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, just because you got that, like I say, Teller only makes what, $22 an hour at her bank teller job, and she's got a pookie bandit boyfriend that's basically known for robbing people and shit, burglarizing homes, and you don't even know. You go walk in the bank, you just another day, and you just didn't know you went to the wrong teller at the wrong day, and then shit happened. Now they gonna figure it out. These people are dumb. You gotta understand, man. You never, like, I'll say this, man, and it just, I don't, I listen to BGS a lot, and I do agree, man. A lot of people are very, very dumb, and he said basically that he discounted how dumb people can get, and yeah, you gotta think like a bank teller. They catch him because it's a link. A good detective, he links things together, or she links things together, right? So, okay, this person got robbed. Okay, what was his last? Let's say he got robbed and he got murdered, right? The home was burglarized. Okay, what was his last 24 hours? What did he do? Oh, he went to the bank. Oh, okay. Who did he go see? That's what Matlock used to do. He used to go ask questions. He's go to the bank. So who's the teller that he saw at the bank? He go ask the bank manager. Well, yeah, who was the teller that was at the bank? And he's like, oh, well, that was Susie. Oh, Susie here today? Oh no, well, she's out. She had to, I think she has a young child, and she had to go take care of her sick baby. She's out today, but she'll probably be in tomorrow. Okay, I'll be back. And then Columbo, I mean Matlock, I said Matlock, but I really meant Columbo. Columbo will come back. He come back the next day, and then he'll ask to speak to Susie, you know, and then Susie, they could see, it's a lot of things people give off, right? First of all, people give off emotional clues. People can read people's emotional cues, right? There's people always talk about intelligence, but it's emotional intelligence, and also social intelligence, right? Understanding your surroundings and the society that you're in, right? Well, when you ask questions and you get a behavioral response, an emotional response, that's that's how they know. That's how any good detective, they know they got somebody when they get an emotional response or reaction from a question. Because you mentioned, you know, I just have some questions to ask you. That's what he'll always say. I just got some questions to ask you. Um, there's, basically a guy that you know, went to this bank the other day, and now he's dead. Um, Someone murdered him. Did you see anybody with this guy when he came to the bank? He saw you, um, when he went to the bank, and it's like you see them sweating and all that type of stuff. So they find out, they could find out, they link it all together and stuff like that. And then by that time, they both got they got the teller, and then they got got the boyfriend, and it's all on the papers and shit. So it's like, yeah, I mean, the thing is that still can possibly happen. You know, that still could possibly happen, and people are versed to that happening in all kinds of ways that can happen. Um, you know, when when you got money. Even his chain, I don't have this chain anymore. I had to sell it, you know. And the thing is I remember wearing this chain, and some people acting. I'm literally. I promise you. I used to wear this chain. And I was in Indiana, and one of the things about Indiana is Northwest Indiana is that even no matter where, I mean, I could have been in Chicago. Like people will like act funny with you because you wearing $1,500 around your neck. You wearing over $1,000 on your neck. Okay, they know. Okay, this is a gold chain. It's at least $1,000 or more. You know, and if you got a pendant, with like diamonds or something, it could be anything, and it's even more money. So it's like, yeah, I've walked around, and there's complete people, absolute strangers ask me funny questions. Like I one time I had my my business on my van, like my basically my logo on my van and my number. And I never forgot this woman. She was with this dude, and they was like 85 octanes, right? And she was like talking about, oh, she got a patch in her ceiling, and her boyfriend or her husband was like, come on, let's go, because she knew she was on bullshit. And she literally was trying to set me up on some shit, and I'm reading her too. Like I'm like, oh, like, cause I'm hip. Like I'm very, very intuitive. My emotional intelligence is through the roof. And I could tell when people acting weird, and it was like she was trying to book an appointment with me, because she saw my chain. And I could tell it was because of my chain. The only thing difference was my chain. And I was like, oh shit, it was like, damn, it hit me. It was like, you know, these people, man, they ain't got no money, and they like, oh, when they see you got a chain on, it's like, oh, they want to, you get robbed, that happens a lot, people rob you, try to take your chain, that was even in Dalton, man. It was guys that they chain took, in high school, they had a chain, and somebody just snatched their chain or whatever. off of them. But the thing is that some people there, if you did a survey and ask people what are their fears, you know, and one of their fears is if getting shot. What do people talk about Chicago? They don't want to nobody wants to get shot, right? Nobody wants to risk getting carjacked, robbed, shot, killed, whatever. And Chicago does have a bad reputation. Even Gary, Indiana, I mean, has a bad reputation. A lot of people move from Chicago to Gary, Indiana. Drove up the violence, right? People coming from all different parts of Indiana, and it is a thing, but basically what I was cut off with the other day was, and I've said it before. I mean, you can associate yourself with people and you could listen to people, and that's fine, like for entertainment. Like I do it too, but I have to remind myself that, okay, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about, the whole YouTube kind of environment right now with, whole, manosphere stuff and all of that, is that people tired of the regular bullshit, basically. I mean, it's not too many much more things to be said, The whole relationship talk is just pretty much like, it's kind of, it's like, I mean, it's gonna keep going, but it's at a plateau. It's been at a plateau of, what are you gonna do? What what are you gonna do about it? I have some things that I possibly might do, but it's like, man, I mean, um, you know, like I said, most people, all of these little groups, they morphed into basically passport bros. It's like they got a passport bro upgrade. Everybody, MGTOW, Ipmore, all these, even SYSBM, they all morphed into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers passport bros. I mean, that's what literally happened, and it had to have happened, because it's like I said, like the white dudes in the 80s and 90s with the uh, mail order brides, right? So yeah, so that eliminates that thing, and it basically goes into, you just need some money. You just need to have your, at the very least, basic living, a place, a house, apartment, some money coming in, and you good to go. But the thing is that a lot of people ain't talking about no motherfucking money. They ain't trying to talk about no money. And the reason, you got to be careful. You got to, I think to myself, this is what I think. And I know, I know people sneak watch and, all that shit, but, don't say nothing. Okay, cool. But yeah, I know you broke. I know you broke. You know what I'm saying? I know the reason, the motives, a lot of the motivation and the motives is motherfuckers is broke. I know the conversation is broke. I know the people talking is broke. Broke, you broke, a broke, a broke. And it's like, yeah, like when you got $500,000 in your account, 50,000 in your account, the conversation is different. The conversations is automatically different. There is no conversation. You enjoying your life. You know, you doing what you want to do. You might spend it and then come back or whatever, and then have stories and stuff. But at that particular time, you ain't no reason to do no live stream. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no reason to talk about wasteless topics, hoping to get some type of, financial contribution or whatever, because you got money already. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's why I uploaded. That's why I uploaded that video of what I did literally yesterday. Was I rebuilt my stairs, because I was like, oh, they ain't talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers talking about they don't build nothing and all of that. It's like, oh, okay. Let me remind you motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm actually doing shit. Like I ain't just talking, you know. I mean, I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Like I be so busy, shoot, I don't have no time to do nothing but try to, be busy. Cause I still do I do all kind of crap, man. I do so much stuff people confuse. They don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all over the place. But the thing is that yeah, it's cool, I guess, but I'm reminded to myself that, when it come back to mindset, these people, you gotta understand that when you listen to other people, that they're not necessarily talking about, the self-improvement or financial self-improvement. A lot of to be honest, you're susceptible to mind viruses, financial mind viruses, like, negative mind viruses. Basically, viruses are negative, right? I mean, well, in a sense, because a virus actually is, I ain't gonna get into all of that, but yeah, in this case, I'll just say that yeah, you getting all of these mind viruses, thrown at you, and then next thing you know, you're thrown off, So that's the thing that you want to be careful of, because you know, um, you it's best to listen to people like this dude. This is what this is from it's a rapper by the name. He's in a show, I think not I think Power Book 2 or something. Joey Badass. He said he listened to people. He splits it up between, as far as who he's social with, is like 33% people that are less fortunate than he is. 33% of people that are on the same level as he is, and then 33% of people that are higher, on a higher level than he is. And the thing is this is important because if you're trying to reach a certain level, I was watching this podcast or whatever, and it was some, kind of like hood dudes, and this one dude, he was like really good at sports betting or whatever, and he was from like a small town, and he making all of this money, and he in like this small town, and it's like a lot of people, poor, and he put a lot of people on, and it's like the dude was like, man, you got to get out of this small town. Like that's the first order of business, is you got to get out of this damn small ass town. And you're gonna stunt your growth most likely, because you don't have people around you to, lift you up. You got everybody, most of the people are are down from where you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, like the standard can mess you up. Like I'll say it like this, right? So I remember when I used to live in the northern suburbs of Illinois. A lot of people are not, they just not aware of the the northern suburbs of Illinois. They just have no idea. And that's by design. White people are very, very good at being secretive. But yeah, we're just pearly things, and her rich, patriarchal family lives. Yeah, they're rich as hell up there. Um, when I first moved up there, and I used to, before I moved up there, I used to actually work up there because I was installing cable for Comcast, and I mean, a lot of mansions. Just I've never seen so many mansions in my life until I like literally like just traveled through the northern suburbs of Illinois, the Chicagoland area. Like, I mean, I literally was like, okay, I was just blown away. So, in case you didn't know, I'll just give you the history lesson of the northern suburbs of Chicago. So it's very old money. Okay. It's new money, a lot of new money in the northern suburbs too, but historically old money, right? So, people pretty much they made a lot of money in Chicago, downtown, north side, and then they would basically branch off and move, have start families and move, to the North Shore, right? Okay, north of Chicago, north of downtown Chicago. And they've done that for over 100 years, and basically it's I would say 90% basically white and Asian and others, right? As far as population, blacks only make 10% of that. It's called Lake County, Illinois. And the thing is that one of the things that I learned from living up there that I'll never forget is it's a standard that's totally different than what I'm used to. Living in the south suburbs, living in the south side, predominantly black, you know, um, they have a different standard in the north suburbs. They're one used to money. They're used to certain things. Like it's like if you don't have that same standard, it's like just looking at you like you're speaking Chinese. Like I never forgot. I was going through some changes. I was married. I was married to someone that basically kind of had more of a 85, 87 type of linkage. And more so than I did. I mean, they my ex-wife didn't necessarily have a different family than I had. They had very similar family. Only thing that messed her up was basically, I would say, her parents were jacked up. They were on drugs and in and out of jail and stuff like that. So that jacked her up. I mean, far as family, I mean, actually her family is not that much different as far as like kind of being like more, well, just say in the standard tone of upper middle class. Because her grandfather was actually a well-known jazz musician. So he had made a whole bunch of money and moved to New York and stuff like that. But the thing is that yeah, her parents was jacked up as hell. So it was like that was where a lot of shit kind of fucked up. But the thing is living up there in the northern suburbs, they're not understanding of if your credit ain't good. They don't understand, you know, you gotta drive a car, you gotta get a cab and get on a bus and to get to work because they got family. Like their aunt, they could borrow some money from their aunt to buy a car. They can get their parents to help them get a car. Like uh, it's not you know a standard from what I'm used to. Like I was used to struggle stories. Average person has bad credit. Average person, don't have no money. You know what I'm saying. So it's like when I went up there, it was like they don't understand all of that. Their standard is that's just average. You supposed to have good credit. You supposed to have credit cards, in case just basically for just financial use. Supposed to have a decent car, to get to work in and all of that. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd never forget. I was working at a computer store called Tiger Direct, and it was like I came outside one day and it was like this big old parking lot, like it was a Home Depot there, and it was like a whole bunch of like, kind of, stores in this like big shopping mall or whatever, kind of area with this big giant parking lot. And I never forgot, like, I was going to work, and I think I was either coming out or I was going into work, and it was a parking lot, just nothing but Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Lotuses, you name it. Like, and it was just like a meetup, and I never saw nothing like that in my life. I mean, I to this day I still haven't seen anything like that. Like, I mean, and it was just like kind of like, my head almost exploded. Like, what the fuck? Because I'm going into work. I got a Pathfinder that I got from my ex-wife that didn't want to get it fixed. That basically bought it from this used car place that I bought my car. That was like, I got like a 90, what was that? 94? No. Yeah, 94. Yeah, it was 94 Toyota Camry that had a bunch of problems. It was in a lot, and then it was like somebody broke into the car and messed up the ignition. And I know how to work on cars, And the thing is I think I bought that car. I think I paid like $400 for it. I think maybe four or $600. I think it was like $400. I had to get it towed because I got it to drive to the gas station, but then it got towed. And then that's like a whole nother story, because then I found some rich dude that dropped a laptop bag or something, and it had a laptop in it. It had a iPad, and I don't know. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was kind of bogus, man. Um, I didn't contact the guy or whatever, and I just was like, man, this dude this dude pulled off. I think he pulled off in a I don't know. I don't remember the car he had, but I was like, you know what? I'm less fortunate at this time, so I don't know, man. I should have just gave dude his stuff, man, but feel kind of salty about that because I wasn't doing the right thing at that time anyway. So it's like it went down the drain. Whatever money I got from the laptop, it didn't I wasn't fruitful in my endeavors. So, but the thing is that yeah, that car lot was where I showed her. I was like, oh, you can get this car, and the Pathfinder that she had was like a 90. What was that? I think it was a 94 as well. And it's like, I'm just used to getting used cars because I mean, I try to save money, but some cars, you just probably not, you probably shouldn't get. But needless to say, that was how I ended up with the Pathfinder. Like, I was willing to get the work done and get it, see it through. She wanted something that you could just drive right away. So I'm not gonna, go into all of what she actually did, because that's not, I'll be all day trying to go into all of the details. But the thing is that that was what I was pulling into work. And I'm seeing this parking lot full of, basically exotic cars. Okay. And expensive exotic cars, and it's like, yeah, like, you know, um, that whole entire geographical area is old money, the grandchildren of old money, um, just the what that is actually like people between Chicago, like the Loop, right, and the North Side, all of that area going from the Loop all the way to the North Side to the North suburbs is the wealthiest area in Illinois. That's where all of the money is. That's where that Home Alone, the movie Home Alone, that house that they lived in, That's where that is, right? All like a lot of movies, like Ferris Bueller and all these movies, like they had like a film boom in the 80s and stuff, and that was where a lot of movies, Groundhog's Day, those are where they filmed those, basically that area. And yeah, the standard is totally different. It's like you could be around people and the standard is basically really, really low, and you like, oh, this is, you learn that standard, and you could just be like, you could just, you know, basically deal with that standard and be like, that's totally okay. And you go somewhere else and it's like, man, what? Huh? They looking at you like you had to catch the bus and get a ride from a crackhead that was smoking crack, and you had to walk all the way down. What? You know, where's your credit card? Like you couldn't get a rental? Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's you could be listening to people and hanging around people, and they got all of these little, hobo standards that they do to live, to basically deal with life or cope with their life of not having any money or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you'll think it's normal. You'll think that's you think that's the right way to go, you know. I know this situation. What I'm talking about is kind of like I'm basically classism 101. I mean, but unfortunately, the thing is that it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Like, I know people, you might have people that are genuinely okay, genuinely, you know, they're nice people, but they're just busted, and they have all of these busted ideas when it comes to money. And that doesn't make them a bad person. And then you can't necessarily, even if you came up, you can't put them on. You can get them some money, but they not gonna this is the same person that wouldn't listen to your advice. This is the same person that wouldn't listen to anybody else's advice. Cause some people are stuck, right? They're just stuck. Like, they just, it's like that farmer, the video I uploaded a short, and he was like, why people are like poor and stuff. You know, people don't listen. People are stubborn. Their ego is in the way. They're stubborn. They don't want to listen, right? They're incapable of listening because people have an idea of, kind of like what I was saying about women, where a woman will fight another woman if she tries to give him her advice, because to women, it's like, you're telling me that my perfection is off. I'm not. You telling me that I'm doing something wrong. You're offending me, right? And when men don't necessarily do that, they're not gonna fight another man that's trying to give him advice. But they'll, in a way, kind of be like I already know type. Like, they'll be like, I already know. You telling me something. You know, it's like, yeah, like it just comes off like, I already know type of thing. And it's like, if you knew, why do you live like a fucking hobo, in a homeless camp? If you already knew that, why are you so busted and disgusted? And it's like, yeah, you don't want to tell them that, so you just gotta just kind of live your life, man. And unfortunately, their life, they have to go through it. They have to deal with their life the best way they can. And you not stopping your life because you got a whole bunch of homies that didn't listen to you, or they might even get resentful because I mean, I'm getting to I'll get to all of this because when I talk about momentum, that's the things that's going to happen when you building up momentum. You're going to separate yourself by proxy of financial gain and the possibilities that happen that open the doors that open with that financial gain where you're just gonna start separating by proxy of the actual reality that you have that other people don't have, and it opens up all kinds of doors. And also other people, they don't have that reality because they don't have that momentum, you know. And the thing is, briefly to speak on that is that one of the things that people don't see is they don't see what all of the things you had to endure to get that momentum. They just see the momentum as it is right now. They don't see the sleepless nights, the hard work, the days and days of going to work, getting up early in the morning, whether it's nice out or as cold as balls, getting on a train, getting, in your car, driving to work. They don't see all of that. They just see, you driving a nice car, and you're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, you look like money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, to a certain extent, um, that's just what they see. They don't see what all of the things that you had to endure to get to that level. So, people become resentful, people become jealous, envious, and all this other stuff because, they don't have, and that's the thing with social media. You go on social media, before social media, you wouldn't see anybody. Unless like you saw them in public, you wouldn't see the person. You see, oh, John, man, I saw John. Oh man, he was driving a brand new Lincoln down 4th Street, and he had a nice family and blah. Like that was all of the social media you got. Now you seeing your high school mates and college mates and all of these different people or whatever. Some people don't even know. And it's like a compare and contrast. You're seeing people that's doing well, you're seeing people that ain't doing well, you're seeing people that's doing, slightly well. And it's like all of this compare and contrast you see. And yeah, it brings a certain level of envy, even in the case with PNB Rock, like social media. Some people say he was set up. His I think baby mother and a daughter was talking to some other chick, that the chick that he was dating at the time, saying that she set him up and dropped his location. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you got people on social media that actually was, they look for social media to rob people. That is a thing. And it's like, yeah, all of this stuff was non-existent. It was like, if you didn't have no compare and contrast. Like, you heard, it was like rumors, like, yeah, I heard you know Rob went to Dallas and he's working at a firm somewhere. Like, now you can see actually Rob going to the firm every day, taking selfies and working at the firm, and how he lives and the cars he drives depending on what he showcases online. And it's like, yeah, like that world is kind of crazy, some people are just kind of just leaving social media and going ghost because a lot of that shit is distracting, you know. And again, social media is why the women are acting the way they're acting. It's why people are acting the way they're acting. As far as like the whole, I don't want to do this and all of that. Like, when I was coming up, right? When I was dating and shit, when I was in my 20s, you know, a lot of you guys in your 20s and shit, uh yeah, social media, it was around, but it wasn't like this. Like it was no like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of that. Like, you know, Twitter probably was in its youth. You know what I'm saying? Facebook was probably Friendster at the time. You had MySpace, you had Black Planet, but you know, and then dating apps, you know, it was like the whole thing with that, you know, like early 2000s, people thought it was strange. Like, oh, you gonna meet a complete stranger? You gonna meet an axe murderer? You know, that's what my friend was like. He was like, man, you gonna meet an axe murderer? And then he met his wife off of a fucking dating app. You know, ironically, about what it was like 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. You know, it wasn't no, oh, I go on, you know, the internet and then I see some rich dude tricking on his chick and buying Birkin bags. I want a Birkin bag. Those concepts did not apply. You know, it was not no showcasing like that on the internet. Like it was just not like that. Like it didn't get explosive until you started having the Instagram movement, right? The Instagram era, you know, Facebook, you know, Twitter and all that, right? YouTube, right? It didn't get to that level, to that those portals and platforms opened up. And it's like, yeah, that's why women are, you know, brainwashed into, you know, wanting what they want, and being delusional like they are. And you know, it's a worldwide thing now, unfortunately. But you know, the thing is that that's the reason why. And people talk about feminism. Yeah, feminism is a big part to play in that. But you forget social media. You forgot social media. Social media is a big part of the reason why women are, you know, so they want so much. You know what I'm saying? Like and they want so much that they're delusional of what they want, you know, and it's like they have to have a dual mating strategy. Like they gotta date the, you know, average dude that they, you know, really dating, that don't have shit, but they can't let everybody know that they're dating a guy that just really ain't got shit. And then online, they gotta, you know, be like, I don't want no Dusty and all of that. You know, that's where all of that shit comes in. And then you got some that's so delusional they don't even have a Dusty in a or whatever. And then they're basically literally kind of like female incels or femcels, to where they're literally waiting for some rich dude to come save them, or some well-to-do dude, based off of some type of fantasy that they saw online. And then they're just getting older and older, you know, and it's no telling when they're gonna actually um get out of that spell, you know. So this is very, it's kind of harmful, you know. The internet is very, or social media is very, very harmful to, you know, basically society. This the reason, it's the main reason, and not too many people talk about it, but it's the main reason why you have um these different mind viruses and brainwashing of both sexes. And it opened the doors to men that to be simps as well. You know, that's why it's all of this simping going on, you know, as well. I mean, also because of how women are, I mean, how men and women are raised, you know, off the father and stuff like that. It just kind of like women are breeding these men, these boys, to be simps, you know. And then they just grow up and it's like, my precious, and they don't understand why the woman is so my precious, because that's all you knew, that's all you saw, you know. So women are your precious because That's all you saw. You grew up off your mom's tit and connected to your mother. So women are your precious because that's all you interactions you really had. So it's really, it's psychological. But the thing is all of these are related to the mind in the sense of people have a lot of problems, and when you have when you center yourself into the goals that you're trying to accomplish, a lot of those are different goals. I mean, you got some financial goals, but you also don't forget that you have to be healthy, right? And you don't want to be a rich sick man, you know. So you got life goals, health goals, or and maybe even lifestyle goals or whatever the case may be. But the thing is that you got to understand that when you listen to people, that if you just constantly on a day-to-day basis listen to people that like they don't even have a garage, they don't even own a garage, right? They don't have any money. They're just kind of like basic guys, and they're not really talking about that type of like they're not, because it's embarrassing to really go into that. It's like it's kind of embarrassing, and I know people don't really want to listen to that. Like, it's just people don't really, it's a select people that really want to listen to certain things financial related. So I mean, the financial sector, or the niche, is a big niche because people are looking for certain things, but the thing is that some people think that when they talk about finances, things drop off. People drop off, but you know it's still needed. People can't live off of relationships. Relationship communication, relationship conversations doesn't help someone balance their checkbook, right? It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And what good is relationships if you don't have any money? You know what I'm saying? Like, um you can be okay with being a house husband and taking care of the bills and all of that type of stuff, but you know that is society sustainable with a bunch of house husbands? That's the question that I ask. And I don't even really want to go there, because it's not important for me to go there. Like, I'm not, it's nothing for me to have to go into that. Like, I don't, a lot of the videos, maybe, it's just whatever the case may be. I might have a small following or whatever the case may be. I mean, and people may not understand what I'm talking about. I don't know. I mean, I don't really get any. I get very few commentaries, so it's just a bunch of people watching or whatever. I'm not necessarily um one to reach out much, and a lot of times when you reach out, people are very, very competitive and territorial, so they don't want to be overstaged. If you try to join someone else's panel, they don't want to be overstaged, and it gets kind of weird. So I kind of learn to kind of stay in my own lane to speak. But yeah, it's people are definitely tired of the the feedback loop, the relationship feedback loop. It gets kind of repetitive. And when it comes to finances and trying to self improve, like a lot of times, like, yeah, people, they don't really want to go into that because like I say, it might expose them. It might expose the content creator a little bit about how shaky their finances is. I mean, it's like you don't want the mirror to come back to you and kind of expose you. As far as what you're doing and where your financial vulnerabilities are. So it's that element as well to play with that, but that's what I was talking about. That's where I got cut off, where uh I was saying, as far as people listening to people that are not on the same path that you are on can kind of in a way throw you off your path. You could be like stuck one day and you're like, damn, why am I stuck? It's because you listen to people that are not on the same path you are on. That could be the case, right? So I'm not gonna go into further detail with that. It's just that's what I was trying to say. I'm not trying to make this no 2 or 3 hour video. It's a lot of what I was gonna say earlier was that a lot of this is a game. It is a game, and me pointing that out is very, very helpful for myself and as well as others. Because even though, like I said before the other day, it is a game, you should take it serious. But it definitely is a game, you know, and don't ever forget that. If you don't take anything from me, understand that this is definitely a game. And don't, like I say, don't be unserious about it. But it's all right to, I'll say it's all right to laugh about it, because I do be laughing about it. I absolutely laugh about this shit. On a day-to-day basis, I'll be just in the line just like laughing, like, you know just like, damn, this shit is such a game. It's like, I mean, I'm not the only one that sees this shit, obviously, but it is such a game. It's like, it's crazy how much of a game it is. You got 12,000 job openings. I mean, no, 7 million job openings and 12,000 people hired across the country. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you know, having a mindset to understand, yes, this is an actual game that's being played, right? These are a bunch of sequences, a bunch of strategies, and all of these different things that you got to deal with. It's like, okay, well, let me go get a, and it's not just black people that suffer from this game. Everybody's suffering from this game, as far as, not everybody, but you got white people that are struggling. You got Hispanics that are struggling. You got a lot of people struggling. Asians, everybody's struggling, right? To a certain extent. Every ethnic group has their people that struggle within this society or whatever. But it's a game, yeah, man. It's a fucking game, like a motherfucker. Like, I can't tell you anything different than it is a fucking game. Um, People can choose who they want to choose to associate with based off of what they have to gain, how popular they are, how you know um, well to do they are, how well educated they are, and all that type of stuff. And then um it's like, it's people are in control of money. Okay. In a sense of, people have money. Okay, companies have money, organizations have money, and nobody really wants to hardly give you anything, right? you know uh and it kind of goes into like, you know, one of the benefits of being a woman, right? A woman could get money effortlessly. It's so effortless that how women can get money, it's almost like it just bores them. It bores their mind to, you know, to an extent how effortlessly they could get money out of men and even women, right? Because women are very supportive of other women, for, you know, to a certain extent, right? Um, women kind of run in like a hive type of thing where they'll all be on one accord with each other. That's why this K chick, or I think that's her name, K, the chick that's wearing lingerie and cooking food for, you know, basically her audience, which is mostly men. She's showcasing primarily for men that she can cook and she looks good, and you know, kind of gives off a fantasy of this woman that looks good and is wearing a nightgown or lingerie and cooking me a meal, right? Because a lot of dudes don't really, they struggle with that, right? Because a lot of women don't want to cook or don't know how to cook, right? And this woman is messing the code up, right? She's messing the sisterhood code up, right? Of I don't cook, because a lot of these women, I don't know. I don't really know the percentage of women that know how to cook versus women that don't know how to cook. I really don't know. Um, I don't know. Definitely a lot of times women that do know how to cook, even if they know how to cook, they struggle with washing dishes. You know, I learned that from my nieces. My nieces will cook a whole fucking seafood platter, but then they don't want to wash the dishes or put the dishes in the dishwasher. And you know, they struggle with that, you know, trying to clean up. I think a lot, half of it is definitely the cleanup. That's why a lot of women don't probably want to cook and all that. They struggle with the cleanup aspect of cooking, you know, and it's like, yeah, uh, you know, this woman comes in and she just blows them out the water just with with just cooking basic meals and putting on some lingerie. She already looks good, you know, definitely above average in looks. So yeah, she's messing up the code. She's messing up the you know the code of ethics. We shouldn't be giving these, because see, here's the thing. This is, you know, this is social. This is just, you know, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's bullshit talk, but you know, it's like basically it is helpful, because in order to have a supreme superior mindset, you got to know the strengths of weaknesses of people. You know, people have weaknesses, people have strengths. Okay. That's, you know, what I'm talking about. You know, basically one of the weaknesses of, I would say, of society, why a lot of black men, even other races of men are having problems with women is because they were raised, basically in a dysfunctional household, in a sense of not having a father in the household, not having a traditional, basically nuclear family or patriarchal family, basically. So it's basically raised with their mother primarily. So when they grow up and they have dysfunctional relationships, a lot of times, this is what I learned in going to school to be a social worker, basically taking all of these psychology classes, you know, sociology classes, social science classes, all of these classes and papers I used to have to write. One of the things that I learned is that if you have a dysfunctional upbringing, the chances of you having a dysfunctional upbringing from that rate being raised in a dysfunctional household is very, very high. So one of the things that I'm learning from what what women are doing that were raised in these dysfunctional households. And this kind of goes into the whole why women talking about pick me's and stuff. One of the things that I'm noticing as far as, the wisdom of my young old age is I'm seeing these young women, I would say between the ages of 18 to 38. The reason why they're mentioning pick me is one of the things that I'm seeing these women are doing in order to kind of on some hive mind type stuff. They're trying to discourage anyone that wants to do anything different than the dysfunction that they are raised to. They're trying to kind of terraform and shape everyone to work within a dysfunction that they're trying to basically normalize dysfunction. And it's like in order for them to cope, because there's quite a lot of them that were raised in this type of household, they're trying to actually shape the minds of all of the other women on social media, which is they have been successful in doing so. They've been very, very successful. And basically what they've done is the whole pick me thing is, oh, you shouldn't want to please men and try to be with men and be all up under them and all of that, because that's the dysfunction that they were raised in. They didn't have, their mom wasn't, all laid up with a guy, with one guy, right? He wasn't laid up with their father, so some, you hear a lot of women, well, women don't like to admit this, the boys that grow up to be men, um they'll mention it more than the women will, about how they seen their mom with multiple men coming in and out of the house. They had to endure that and see that, and it's like, yeah, in order to kind of shape everyone to see the lens of them and their dysfunction, they're, trying to, basically underserve or under uh um gird men and what they actually want and what a normal relationship would be. Anything that would be a normal relationship with men and women, they're against that. So cooking a meal is just some standard that women did from, like, I don't know, eons. But uh actually wanting to get with a man and be up under a man and his homestead is, again, something that is for eons. So because they did not see that, didn't grow up like that, they want to, in order to kind of shape society, um they want to discourage any other woman that is anything different. And some of the women are seeing that, they peeping game, they like, oh, they're actually, on TikTok, they have pick me wars and all that type of shit. But I don't really get involved in that. But I mean, like I said, as an older man that came up during the teen pregnancy revolution in the late 80s and whatnot, I trust me, I see the children that were brought up. They're adults now. They're actually older adults at this point. They're in the late 20s, early 30s, and people try to normalize things. That's what people do. They try to normalize even dysfunction. So in order to normalize dysfunction, they'll even try to bring other people into their philosophy of dysfunction. And it's very simple, and it's like a lot of people don't really see that shit, and I see it just like it is. And like I say, they've been very, very successful with, it's almost like spreading toxic, like tentacles on other people that they can be so effective in doing this is that they'll even spread their mean girl spirit and all of this type of shit to other women that they ain't even have that type of upbringing. They grew up with their father. Their father was running, the show. He was the boss of the house. He, took care of business. And just because they wanted a friend online or wanted to listen to somebody, they'll, before you know it, they'll be influenced by someone that, basically was raised in dysfunction and has dysfunctional values that they're trying to spread to other people, and it'll catch, and next thing somebody's going, just going out the world backwards because they listened to somebody that was spewing dysfunction and they just wasn't wise enough to catch it. They wasn't, what I'm saying? And that's how that is. But what I'm saying is this: you got to understand, it's people that understand weaknesses and strengths just like what I'm talking about, and they take advantage of people. I'm not the type of person that I'm gonna take advantage of someone, but I understand when someone's talking, yeah, like I understand their weaknesses when they speak. And a lot of times that's why they say you should just be quiet, because you don't want nobody to, try to get the upper hand on you by what you say. You know what I'm saying? Like anything you say can be used against you in a court of law, like type of shit. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's a lot of people, man, with a lot of problems, and those problems are weaknesses. People don't probably think of it like that, but people can see you're weak. Like, yeah, you can't handle pressure. You got, and then you got habits and stuff like that. And those habits mess with your mind. I didn't even talk about that in the last live stream I did on part one. A lot of people with all of these drug habits, alcohol habits. Like some people, they can drink a couple shots and they good. Some people got to drink the whole bottle. They can't handle. They can't deal with like alcohol. They don't have any. They can't. What I'm saying, shut it off. Like the concept of a couple shots does not register with them. You know, I mean, everybody got somebody in their family like that. You give them a liquor bottle, and then next thing they're cussing people out at the Thanksgiving party or whatever. So it's like, yeah, all of these habits, they messed. They kill any type of step one. They kill any opportunity, and a lot of that's what That's why I say, like, a lot of this stuff is like it does have something to do with money, but it actually doesn't, because it's like your own problems that you have in your life, the things that you have to deal with, will throw off, your idea of having any type of healthy mental uh the thoughts, what I'm saying, just or viewpoints, like, because you taking drugs. I mean, obviously that's gonna mess your whole mind up. He said, what does he say here? Okay, he said Asians call men and women who don't have functional upbringing bastards. Yeah, that's what they used to call people back in the day. That goes back to kind of like the early Catholic Church, like that was that term bastard. I don't know, if you go to the etymology dictionary, they'll give you the actual like date that word came out, but it goes back to basically Christendom, like Rome and Catholic Church and all of that, like Europe, medieval Europe and stuff like that, man. It's an old word. People don't say bastards anymore usually, because the thing is that, what's the marriage rates right now? I mean, what, 30% for 50%, 40, I don't know. So it's a lot of people that are they're okay, you know, um, you could say basically, technically we're, becoming a nation of bastards. I mean, like, that's the way it is now. So um that's that's kind of interesting, to really point out the obvious, is that, yeah, I mean, becoming a nation of bastards, right? Um, and you have to open the history books and research, how does that work out? When you have a nation of bastards, how does that how's that fruitful? And then you think about religion, you think about, people talking about, oh, I don't want no Sharia law. Well, back in like, in Europe, and during the Catholic Church, and then the wars with the, England and Henry VIII, and splitting off and starting a, whole different type of, basically, religious sect, separate from the Catholic Church, and then the Protestants and the Catholics and all of that. Like, yeah, it was a time where it was like a theocratic type of society, right? Iran is a very theocratic society. Saudi Arabia, right? And they keep things in check, right, to a certain extent, right? And it's like, yeah, I mean, you know, you look at the United States, you look at other countries, they have a lot of single mothers and stuff, right, and all of that. And you know, I don't, I'm not. I'll do research and stuff like that. You know, I don't really, I don't really know. Like, I mean, Rome was the reason. One of the reasons Rome kind of fell was they had a lot of sexual deviance and homosexuality. You know, and it's like, okay, it's a similar situation in America, right? It's definitely a big thing, right? The whole rainbow movement, right? So, you see all of this stuff playing at play, right? And you, like, other countries, unfortunately, they chess players too. They some good chess players. The last champion was an Indian, right? From India. The chess champion of the world is an Indian, right? So they looking at this shit. They looking at the United States, man. They rubbing their hands together. They like, okay, because women just talk. Women can't fight like that. They just run their mouth in the hopes that they can call the police. That's why they run their mouths. They can either call the police, or they're gonna grab their gun or some type of weapon or whatever. That's why they run their mouth, because women can't necessarily fight. Like, men run their mouth, but it's consequences, because men will fight another man. So a lot of times men will hold their tongue, you know. Especially, you got people walking around with guns and stuff too. So one of the things a lot of times what women do is to just run their mouth, because they either go get basically one of their crash outs. Um, you know, Dr. Tiasan Johnson calls them ConcuSurfs. I'll call them just like, I don't know whoever coined this term. I definitely didn't. Simp enforcers. They get this simp. They could go get a simp enforcer. They can call the police. They can call someone that basically run their fucking mouth. The smartest women do not run their mouth, because they know. Like, I remember my older sister, she said she ain't never got in no fight with no dukes. She don't run her fucking mouth. she don't write a check her ass can't cash. And it's like, even me, I don't run my fucking mouth. I don't argue. First of all, you don't argue with complete strangers. That's insanity. You don't know this person. Why are you arguing with them? You walk the fuck away if you can, because you first off, you don't argue with strangers, because if they started it with you, obviously this person's crazy, and it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people is fucking insane. So that's first off. So you don't, I mean, a lot of times you're in a situation where taking, mass transit or public transit, and you around, you just out there with the, you just out there with society, like what the dude say, the what's old boy Chris Andrew Tate, society, see what he said, society, like he said he take the society, like he takes the when he say Bugatti, he be like Bugatti, like I don't know, he has a funny, like it's almost like a Welsh accent or something. But the thing is like, yeah, you out there, with just everybody, you know what I'm saying, the Gravens, the everybody, man, and it's like you can't, in that situation, a lot of times why people just be looking at the people while they standing over them saying crazy shit, because it's like, yeah, this person's homeless, person's mentally ill, and he's on the train, talking to people, random people, and I mean, yeah, but some people just, it's degrees of insanity. Like, you got that the degree of it, and then you got somebody that's just extremely frustrated, and they looking to argue with somebody, and then somebody just argues with them and all of that, and then it's like, yeah, now you in some situations you ain't want to be in, because you're responsive to crazy, you responding to crazy people. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot to be said, but that's another thing when it comes to, you know just understanding kind of what's going on. I mean, again, this is definitely a game. um it's a game. And when you realize it is a game, that's when you learn to play the game, learn to play the game better, because you got a lot of barriers, you know what I'm saying? And understanding those barriers, trying to overcome them, is just what you got to work on, and you got to think about it. People, the way they live their life, they live it like they don't know. Okay, it's like, for example, how many people spend so much money, right, buy Gucci belts and buy all of these, nice stuff and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, then you lose your job, right? You lose your job, and then you realize, oh man, I was pretending like I was rich. I thought I was rich because these white people gave me all this money from this job, and I thought I was rich for a small period of time. Then you realize, like, oh no, you just had a job, and no, you was far from rich, and yeah, like, you probably should have supported someone that kind of, had the same similar situation that you had, and maybe had a small clothing line. You might not have wanted to make the other people that was already rich re-rich. I don't know. I mean, those are just some thoughts, but as far as things is concerned, uh basically, in closing, is that, it definitely, like I said, I cannot state it any further, that it is a game, but it is serious, as far as just this society and the wealth and the resources that it has, and a lot of the red tape that is involved into getting access to some of this, some of this wealth. It's a game in a sense of what, like, you can literally start off at zero, and over the course of time, as long as you keep building up the momentum, you can actually get some money, and um people will treat you a certain way when you're at zero, and then when you get, let's say 100,000, $1 million, and then they treat you a different way, and it's like you're the same person that had zero. you know it's like, it's funny because it's like, okay, they want to give you a loan because you got $1 million in the bank and $100,000 in the bank. But it's like, damn, why you ain't just give me a loan when I had zero? And it's like, that's where when I keep saying it's a game, it's a game, it's a game. It's like, yeah, it's like people treat you a certain way based off of the fact that you have or don't have money, and it's like that's where it's just kind of gets it gets kind of like it's a game, like my uncle says it's a simulation, and it's like, yeah, it's weird like that, because and then I have to say, as far as like the whole Shira 7 thing, go out and get money, I knew that was going to be a situation where she was basically influencing women to basically, she was like a internet madam that was basically telling all the women to go be hoes. Literally, that's what it was. And it's like, yeah, well, every woman cannot be a hoe. They don't know how to be a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So that's not gonna work. You telling women to go be hoes, and it's like, just like lemmings, just go ho, Merry Christmas. Like, I mean, that's not gonna work. You're gonna get a lot of women pregnant, a lot of women with, then they gotta go get an abortion. They gonna get trapped because you got dudes like you got dudes that know how to play that whole trick. Like, it's tricks that have took hoes from pimps. It's you know I mean, I'm not saying that's something that you should go do, like, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? It does happen. And the thing is like, not so much just that, but like, it's tricks, quote unquote, that know how to flip the game. Like, you see, people are so one dimensional, right? As far as thinking, people are trained to be so general and basic. They only think on and off. They only think yes and no. They're just, one track minded. They don't understand variables and variances and, A, B, people think A, B, and C. They don't think A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. Like, people don't have critical thinking skills like that. So when they say trick, they don't understand, okay, it's a trick that actually they know how to basically trap a bitch. It's tricks that know how to trap. Like, when I mean by trap, they know how to flip it on a chick. Because it's like what I'm talking about, and I know I'm all over the place, and it's definitely uh you know I was trying to talk about finances and just that, but I'm just all over the place. But it's all relative, whatever the fuck. The thing is this. It's tricks that basically know how to do certain things, right? So what I'm saying is, this kind of goes into Alexis K. Tyler, penis power. You know, it's dudes know how to dominate women. Okay. And it's like, oh, okay. So, you want some money, right? Okay, you want some. Okay, you go get a diamond necklace, give them some money, take them out to eat, show them good, and fuck the shit out of them. Some women have never had no, like, they never dealt with no fucking bull strong, like, big back, you know super, like, champion lover, you know bedroom bully buck, like they never, like, it's certain women that they have not been, especially if they're young. That's why, like, young women get with older dudes. It's like a dude, just, he's an old, you know um a old bull. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's like they don't know how to deal with all of that. Like, I mean, I know. I mean, I'll say it like this. I mean, I'll, definitely this. But I mean, we're adults. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not.
Pause.
It's not. It's you got to understand, like, because a lot of times dudes be like, when you trying to talk about, like, male anatomy and stuff like that, they, tied in to why are you talking about that? Like, what do they got to do with anything? And they tied into, like, homosexuality and shit like that. But the thing is this: just how I know. I mean, the power and how good vagina is. I know the power of a fucking dick because I have one, right? And I know it's different levels of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what I'm saying is that basically these women, these young women, listen to Shira 7. They don't have the experience like that. Like, a lot of times, to be honest, like, women that's like over, let's just say 35, they've already had various experiences with men, with different levels of men. They know men come in a wide variety. They've been in relationships with men that have a high level of sexual mastery and power. They've had children with these men. These men are, their ex-husbands, and these young chicks, they haven't had no fucking dude that, it's like, you know, Mr. Lover, man, Shaba. Like, they never had no, they never had to run up the fucking wall like a spider, because they soul just got touched. Like, they haven't had any experiences like that. So you got dudes out that will, I don't do this, right? I don't do this, but it's dudes that do this, that they got money and they willing to trick on chicks, and they know how to. It's kind of like a trap, you know, like basically they'll pick certain women that might be like kind of, they new to it, like they just start and they just saw Shira 7 Sunday night, and then next Friday they had happy hour, and then they meet some, 55-year-old executive that used to be, that basically is a kappa, you know uh uh from uh from Butler University. I mean, and then she's like 24. She just got out of college. She saw Shira 7 on Sunday, and then she's at happy hour the next Friday. She does the standard thing or whatever. And she gets the number, and then they go out on a date, and she's talking about, yeah, she wants to start a business and she needs some money. And he play, it's dudes that literally do this. I kid you not, I already know, Like, cause you know what I'm saying, I already know, trust me. You play the game, yeah, okay, yeah, I get, you know, I'll, yeah, what you need? You know, I kind of need about 5,000. You know, depending on the situation, they play along. You know, you got plenty of money. All right, and then as the you know situation progresses, basically she's got this money. She's got you know she's like, man, I hit the jackpot. Then the sex comes, and she gets blown the fucking way. She, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't. You know, they just don't talk about you know certain things when it comes to sex because a lot of times people are very, first of all, they're scared because they might lose some monetization, and then it's like people are uncomfortable talking about certain things and all that type of shit. But the thing is man, you you don't know. Like a lot of times, people don't know the depths of sex, how deep it goes. Like you know, and it's like you in that situation she ain't never had no, you know, she's never had no like sex like that. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's she don't know. She has no defenses against that shit. Like you know, it's like, and it's like you know, the thing is like, man, I got kids, man, I got daughters, man, and I have to talk to them about you know what you know when they get older or whatever about what they up against and you know I gotta talk to them because a lot of times you know fathers fail their daughters by not telling them about you know men, you know, as far as what they're capable of and what is involved in what to be aware of. Because to be honest, it was not designed for a woman. This society was not designed, even you know, this society, it was not designed for women to go from men to men to men to men to men. Like it was not designed like the father, like I said, I talked about the father being a finance manager and you know, the you know, American patriarchal father being a finance manager in the household, choosing the right mate for his daughter, you know, and the finance manager was fired, you know, and the thing is that yeah it was because it was not designed for women to just be dick hopping like that, you know, and the thing is that that's you know that's acceptable and all of that, and I mean of course I mean it's kind of like I benefit from that, you know what I'm saying, in many ways, and I have benefited from that, but even when I benefit, I do know it's like, damn, you know, this woman just, you know, she just kind of lost. Like she just gave me this pussy, and she just, you know, she went on her own way, but um, you know, if she don't get nobody to marry her, you know, she's gonna keep doing this until eventually she's gonna reach a certain age and she ain't gonna be able to get nobody else. Like not that she wants. She gonna have to get an older dude. You know, it's like once a woman gets like 40 something, you know, younger men, you know, they will probably get with them, but it's like, you know, they a younger man that wants children, they can't provide that. So that's pretty much a deal breaker. So then they got to get an older dude that is like in his 60s or something that you know wants a younger woman and obviously is okay with not having kids and all of that type of stuff. So it's like it gets kind of it gets kind of like old and crusty, after a certain age, and it's like, damn, I mean, you could have avoided that, but yeah, it's like it just kind of gets complicated like that, but it wasn't designed, society was not designed for that, but that's what women wanted. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the younger women, they what I'm saying, they don't have that experience, and they could listen to other women tell them, and that once they experience that shit, it's kind of like it's too late at that point, because they soul got touched. And then now you like, you either, if the dude, pretty much like, he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's done. He's like, oh, my magic wand works once again. And then this chick's all butterfly in the face, and she's got the best of both worlds now. She's got money and she's got some good dick. And then it's like, oh man. And then next thing this dude's been doing this shit since he was in college. He's like, eventually on to the next. Now her heart broke, her soul is rocked. She ain't got no money, and she ain't got no, she done got a soul tie, as they say, with the guy. And it's like, yeah, then it becomes kind of bitter. And she's crying and she's drinking with her friends. It's like trying to figure out where she fucked up. And it's like, yeah, you was listening to Shira 7. There you go. And you ain't know what the fuck you was getting into. Now you know. Now do you still want to be a hoe? Yes or no? And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the world that she's opening up. And it's like, as an older guy, I know the other side of that. And what a lot of times men say, and they're so one-sided in their thinking, they just think of, oh, these tricks, and they gonna be giving these women money and and it's like, yeah, you got tricks that don't know how to fuck, that don't know anything about how to dominate women and all of that. You got that aspect of it, and that's the aspect that what most people just think about. But then you got a trick that knows how to actually trick. He's got a magic trick up his sleeve, and he knows how to use it. And that's the aspect that people miss and don't think about and don't really know about really too much. That you got dudes that know how to, they know how to and actual professional whore, she knows about that, and she's not necessarily susceptible to that because she's got experience, and she took in a whole lot of dicks, so she ain't really worried about that, but a chick that ain't never been in that world and don't know nothing about that, and she listen to somebody on some TikTok or whatever, YouTube, is talking about go to happy hour, and meet a rich man and get some money from him. Yeah, I mean, that they're going to have their, I guess you want to call, whole wake up call. And that whole wake up call can be all kinds of shit, because women don't have no lot. You got some women that can control, they can control themselves, but a lot of women can't control themselves. They don't have any control over a hard dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, that's why I even laugh at women that wear pants and is got frogs in their throats. Because I know, I mean, I'm not talking about on some like great stuff, but I know a hard dick, pretty much will will relax the most, harshest beast. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the thing is yeah, they absolutely have no idea what they're getting involved with. And then you're starting to see a lot of these women with these stories talking about they gotten pregnant and they've had all kinds of you seeing all kinds of fallout stories from this. And it's like, yeah, I mean, this is what happens. And um then they realize, once they get their whole wake up call, they realize, oh, they thought it was just like other people thinking. It's just a one sided trick that is just he can't really get any women, and he's got to pay to play. Yeah, that's one aspect of tricks. But then you got like I say, you got tricks that and if you don't believe me, you could go like basically BGS, he talks about that. Like he said he got a friend that that's what he used to do. He used to just he used to flip it on women as far as like a tactic to kind of get a chick to acquiesce to him, and kind of flip the game around, like, because it goes into just basically it goes into sexual mastery, and just kind of what I'm basically saying is like women can get they can get involved with somebody that's like I want to say, to basically explain it, they can get involved with a sexual alpha that has a high level sexual mastery, even a beta, to be honest, like, or lower tier man that has a high level sexual mastery, and they don't have any defenses against that because it's called nature. Yeah, it's called nature. So that's the thing, like, and women don't really like that. That's why they try to avoid certain men as well, because they don't want. A lot of times women are running away from it. They're kind of running away from being dominated. um that's why it goes into a whole different thing. But yeah, I mean, that's where it goes. But I've said way too much. It's way too long. I just wanted to get off of why to say where it ended last night, as far as kind of like who you listen to can either motivate your mindset, or demotivate your mindset. So you gotta be very, very careful of that. You gotta be very, very careful of that. So just be very wary. Be cognitive of that. It's best to have to listen to people that are on the same path and journey that you are on. Okay.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's one of your top
It is.
three pieces.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You want to know why you're all fucked up? Just look at the fucking bums you hang around with. If you don't think money can buy happiness, you don't know where to shop. You can get money and then go save the world. You can get money and save the forests in Brazil. You make money and go save global warming. But without money, you can't save a fucking thing. Don't you understand? Don't the fucking idiots on YouTube understand that? Until you make some shekels, until you make some fucking coin, you can't help anybody. Because if love got the job done, you wouldn't all be fucked up.